Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock with Wealth Protector TV. Very excited to have divorce attorney Holly Moore on with us. And we're going to dive right in, Holly, to this very hot topic. I think this is educational. If unfortunate things are going on with people and they're thinking about a divorce, my question to you is if someone's not going back, they've gone through counseling, it ain't happening, now they're getting a divorce, they're going forward, what exactly happens? What are the first steps and what goes on?
So ironically, it's very, very easy to get a divorce case started. It's really just a couple pieces of paper that are filled out with statistical information, and they're signed by our client, and then they're filed with the court and served on the other party. So to start a divorce is very simple and very easy. However, very soon after that, you are going to be tasked with basically presenting the full picture of the assets and debts of the marriage, which, depending on what happened during the marriage financially, can sometimes be daunting and sometimes pretty simple. The cases and the clients that we deal with, people tend to have acquired, some assets. Maybe there's businesses involved. Maybe there's kind of layers of debt. There may be rental properties, things like that. So depending, again, on the financial situation that occurred during the marriage, it can be sort of a daunting, larger task or more simple.
So when you fill out that paperwork, you submit it, it's in the system, then when do the two people first come together? Is there some sort of mediation or something to even find out where people's heads are at? Or is it just the attorneys talking to each other?
So one of the things that I love about what we do is every case is a little bit different. It really kind of depends on the parties. I have cases where, in fact, just on Friday, I was in court on a case, and those parties had separated in August, and that was the first time they had seen each other and been in the same room. So for the past, 9 months, it's just been communication through attorneys, per the party's choice, and the dynamics of that situation. Whereas I have other cases where maybe a client will retain us, we file the petition, we get the divorce case open, and the first thing they want to do is sit down with the other party and find out what can we resolve. Right. So there's no two cases that are the same. It really kind of depends on the dynamics of the situation, what's going on between husband and wife, and what they want and what their goals are.
How do you work out the fees? So if someone comes to you, how do you do that? I mean, do you kind of upfront say, okay, here's the budget you need to make this happen? And I probably would assume it's a moving target because who knows how long these things take, but how do you handle that with people?
Yeah, you have asked the $1 million question, no pun intended.
Oh, I hope, is it $1 million?
Yeah. So we charge by the hour. We require a retainer up front, but of course that's not very helpful for clients because ultimately what they want to know is how much is this whole thing going to cost me? I don't want to just know what is the deposit, like what am I looking at in terms of fees to finish this divorce? The team that does the consultations with the clients here is very good at letting the clients know, hey, your retainer is this, but you have this and this issue. It's probably going to take this amount of time. You're probably looking at fees of X. But even that is still just an estimate.
Right.
What I always tell clients is the more you fight, the more you're going to pay in attorney's fees. Fighting is expensive. Right. And some things are worth fighting for. Some things are not. We're very happy to tell our clients what our best advice is in terms of what's worth fighting for and what's not. We very often find ourselves in the middle of a case doing cost-benefit analysis. Okay, you don't agree with that, so that means you'll have to go to court, but it's going to cost you X amount to go to court. Is that worth it to you? Sometimes they say, absolutely yes. I don't care how much I have to pay in attorney's fees. It's totally worth it to me, even if I lose. And other times they may go, you know what, that's really not worth it to me. I'll just agree that she can have the coffee cups or whatever the case may be. So again, we're very client driven here. It's all about what are the client's goals, and not everybody has the same goals. Some people are driven on principle, where it's like, the numbers don't matter. They really want their day in court to tell their story. And people, it's like, they're number crunching the whole way, and they don't mind if they have to pay the spouse or they have to pay us. Like, it's just a numbers game for them. So it's all about the client's goals.
Yeah, well, as you're talking, I'm thinking ideally it'd be great if everyone could treat it like a business transaction and just be, diligent, efficient, make the right business decision. But there's probably so much, darn emotion involved, of course, that, that's unrealistic.
Well, Paul, we're dealing with the things that are literally the most important things in a person's life. Your kids, your retirement that you've worked so hard for, the house that you made into a home. Like, these are very, very hot button issues. And so, yes, of course, when you're not in the thick of it, and we're thinking rationally about it, yes, why wouldn't everybody just treat it as a business transaction? That would probably be a lot cheaper in terms of attorney's fees for most people, but the reality is much, much different because the issues are just very, very near and dear to people, which stirs up a lot of emotion.
Yep. So you file, you get into it, you start having discussions, budget discussions, and then you go from there. My last question, and this has been very helpful, is you mentioned separation. Do most people, is separation always come before the divorce, or does it just depend on the scenario?
So first, I have to do that annoying lawyer thing and define what we're talking about when we say separation.
Yeah. Legal separation is, what is that?
Okay, so, there's the data separation, which is the legal definition in layman's terms is one person decides, like, there is no hope in saving this marriage. It is done, stick a fork in it, it's done. That's the data separation. You can technically still be living in the same home with the other person and have the data separation hit. On the converse, I've had people that have filed for divorce, served the other party, and the data separation still hadn't hit because they were going out to lunch, seeing if they could work it out. They were attending marriage counseling. So that's actually a somewhat factual, technical, legal issue in terms of when does the data separation occur.
And you know what? As you were talking, I just got to mention this one thing because there's so much skill in your job, because I'm thinking of a case I know about. Husband and wife live in a $4 million home, and marriage not working out, kid in the home, file for divorce, neither will move out of the house. I'm not moving out. They live in the same house. This has been going on for 4 years, and they've spent north of $1 million on attorney's fees, and they can't stand each other. They live in the same house, and one of them has gone through like 3 or 4 attorneys. I'm thinking to myself, somebody's dropping the ball there. It's insane that goes on. And you probably see these things all the time, but I'm like, to me, it's crazy. And I just say, well, is that avoidable, those sort of scenarios?
Of course. Yes. Of course that's avoidable. And that sounds like a little bit of an extreme case.
Right.
But I have one case off the top of my head. The parties are still living together. The data separation has hit. There's no hope of reconciliation, but they are still living in the same home. But again, this is where the emotion comes in, because when you see divorces that are going on for 4 years, I've had one that went on for 8 years, and I think they were only married for 5. When you see that kind of thing, to me, as somebody who has done it a lot, there's something emotional going on there. It's not about the house. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the money. There's something emotional going on there or they have horrible attorneys, but let's just assume that's not the case. Let's hope that the attorneys are doing very well for the clients and looking out for the client's best interest. There's something else going on there where one person is having a hard time letting go. They are fearful of that closure where the marriage is legally completely over. And so they're doing things to drag that out.
Right. Yeah, and it's a lose-lose scenario.
It really is. The only people that win are the attorneys with those $1 million in fees, but it wreaks havoc on the family.
Yeah. Holly, always great information. Thanks so much. and we're going to see you next time.